Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about some really cool jewels you can make this patch. 2 weeks ago, Connor made a video about how to craft some of the most busted jewels that we've ever had, and yeah, they're still busted. Nothing has been fixed about the way to craft them, but you can also do other stuff with it. While most people are focusing on stacking crit multiplier, you can also get defenses with energy shield, because guess what? You can get quite a bit, up to 50% per jewel. And the longer we get into the league, the more I personally get into the situation where I have too much damage, and the only thing I want is my build to be cozy. I want it to be fast and not die. And this league also saw the introduction of the diamond, which, if you don't know, if you put a emerald, a ruby, and a sapphire in the reforging bench, you will make a diamond. And it is a combination out of all three, and you can have attack and spell based stuff all mashed together. In my case, I'm using energy shield and attack-based modifiers. Really important, if you don't know what modifiers are on what jewels, you can just go here to Puri2DB. I'll link this down below in the description. Like you can see down here, Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond. And let's, for example, take the Sapphire as an example. It will show you all the modifiers it can roll up to here. The rest are like special modifiers that you don't really need. But you can see these are all the suffixes and these are all the prefixes. Same thing goes for Rubies and Emeralds. Diamonds are special because diamonds have all the modifiers from all three different jewels, which you might think is OP, but it also makes it a lot harder to roll for what you want. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you two crafts. First, the Sapphire itself, and then a fractured diamond jewel. Now, why do you want diamonds to be fractured is because you can't just buy them. I can go to the market right now and buy a ton of these Sapphire jewels, which have two prefixes that I want, which is how you start. For example, here, percentage max energy shield, and then faster start of energy shield recharge, but it could be whatever you need. And I can just go and buy them because there's so many Sapphires out there, and the pool is very small of what they can roll. Diamonds, you can't just buy the two prefixes you want, most likely. You can try if it's something niche, if it's something off meta, but most likely you'll have to fracture first. If you know what all of this already means, then you can just screen grab this and it's going to be easy for you. Otherwise, I'll give you some context and I'll actually craft the jewels in this video. Now, in this video, we have two very important potent liquids that we're going to need. First, Contempt, and then Ferocity. But for now, we only need Contempt. So you buy the jewel with the two GG prefixes you want. Don't go for something in between because these crafts are very expensive. So for example, here, maximum energy shield and faster start of energy shield recharge. Also do note that there's a chance that you will not have to redivine if you already have good divines, but that depends on the craft. Here is the only RNG in this whole craft. Everything after this point cannot brick anymore. And it's good that it's at the start because you can't ruin your item afterwards unless you are misclicking. That can always happen. So here is a simple and beautiful 50-50. You want to hit +1 prefixes. It could also be +1 suffixes. Boom. In this case, we brick the item +1 suffixes. And in this case, we hit it. So we hit the 50-50 chance. And now we want to add a prefix desecrate. You do that with preserved cranium. And you'll see, boom, there it is. Now, to get the full potential of your prefixes and get a lot of energy shield, we want a energy shield hybrid roll. If you've never seen these before, you can get 5 to 10 maximum ES and thorns damage. This is one modifier. But you can also get the same one with totem damage or attack damage or spell damage. There's a lot of different mods that can roll here though. So this one is the most expensive part of this whole craft. And you have to understand that you cannot redo this later. I know a lot of people think, oh, you can just Omen of Light later. But the trick with this jewel is later we're going to remove the +1 prefix modifier, but it's going to keep the 3 prefixes so we can get another suffix. So that's not going to fly. Once this is done, it's locked in and you can reroll as much as you want with Omen of Lights right now, but not later. Okay, so we'll just go here, Omen of Light, Omen of Abyssal Echoes, and this one usually takes me 3 to 5 tries on average. In my case, I can hit both attack damage and spell damage hybrid with energy shield because I'm using Crown of Ice, but I go boom. So in this case, I got maximum energy shield and thorns damage. I'm just going to reroll, nothing here. Afterwards, all you have to do is annul. Make sure that you have the Omen of Light activated. So in this case, I hit Thorns damage hybrid, but the energy shield is perfect. This is a perfect energy shield roll, 10%. So I'm going to keep this one just to show you how much energy shield you can get here. Also, Sapphires are in general a lot less expensive to craft, so you don't have to go for the craziest thing. Now, there's also normal mods in this pool. You cannot just get desecrated modifiers. So do look out for, I don't know, maybe there's some modifiers in here that you're fine with. For example, shock magnitude, or if you have poison build, poison magnitude. Or people also go for stuff like projectile speed if you're on diamonds. So, okay, we locked that in. And now this modifier will stay. So these are our 3 prefixes right here. And that's about that. Next up, we want to remove the suffixes so we can recraft them. What you need for this is the Omen of Dextral Annulment. This makes it so you can only remove suffix modifiers with annulments. So you deactivate all your abyssal stuff. We are now at stage 5. Yeah, there it goes. So you just want to remove the craft. Over annulment, we have this activated, and boom, we got it on the first try. If you get it on the second try, nothing really happens. It just costs you a little bit extra, an extra thing here. But now, very important, you want to fill the suffixes again. So you want to make sure that at no point you're not at 5 modifiers, because otherwise you can actually brick the jewel again. So you go to 5 modifiers and it doesn't matter what you roll here. Next up, we are at number 7, which is chaos spam for a good suffix. The reason you can do this is because you have 3 prefixes locked in, but you cannot replace a prefix because it cannot add a prefix. So you can, the TLDR is you can chaos spam and it can only ever remove suffixes. It will give you some weird random bug notices on the left side whenever it doesn't work, but you can just keep doing it. So if you look at your suffix right here, you can do this. And there you go, mono region, minion stuff. You can see no space for modifiers. It would have hit a prefix, but it cannot do it. It is not possible. Freeze threshold. Most people here are going to look for something like crit damage, but it doesn't really matter. Just look at the look at it. So for example, it could be that cast speed is very strong for you. In this case, I'm just going to assume it is. Otherwise, just keep rolling and look for modifiers in this list right here. Now, next we are at step number 8, and here is where we will use potent liquid ferocity. And this is another 50-50, but it can never brick your item. The only 50-50 you have here is which of the suffixes is it going to remove. You are guaranteed to get increased prefix effect, but yeah, so in this case, if you're fine with both suffixes, then you're basically done. But let's say you only want the cast speed. Let's put this on. Boom, we got it. And we even hit perfect 60%. There you go. Pretty lucky. If it doesn't hit, let's say you hit the 3% cast speed and remove it instead of the other mod, then all you have to do is re-chaos spam, and it's the same thing. You cannot brick the item at this point. Now, the last step and why it's so good to have double energy shield on a jewel is the new catalyst. If you didn't know, there are catalysts for jewels now, and there's defensive ones, which increase energy shield modifiers. So we can now quality it up to 20%. And as you can see right here, we have a nice 54% increased energy shield in total. And the faster start of energy shield recharge also gets scaled because it's also a defensive modifier, which is very premium this patch. You get a suffix that you want, cast speed, crit damage, whatever you want. Do note that you might have seen this with the quality, the thorns damage or whatever's here, if you get spell damage, even better, also gets scaled by the quality because it is attached to the energy shield. So that is the craft that most people will want. Here is the diamond craft though. There is very specific applications here. If you want energy shield, but you also want certain attack-based modifiers, you'll have to use diamonds. For example, here I am scaling maximum rage, which got buffed to +2 this patch, with increased effect that goes up to +3. And it gives you a slew of extra stuff, not just more damage, extra attack speed and whatnot. Okay, cool. So you want that and energy shield. Very greedy, but you can do it theoretically. Now, the downside of diamonds is you cannot just buy them in slew like you could with sapphires. Like I said, I just bought faster start ES and I can just spam on it and I could just buy more. They just do not exist. So you'll have to make a fracture first. So you keep that modifier, the first prefix. And in this case, the best one to get is maximum energy shield because otherwise you'll have to divine it later. And it goes from 10 to 20, which is 11 different outcomes. So it's really hard to divine. So it would be nice to keep that. If you have 4 modifiers, you have to annul down to 3. And then you add a preserved cranium. You cannot hit the desecrated modifier. So it's a 1 and 3. And you fracture and you hope for the best. In this case, I got lucky, so we can continue. Afterwards, you want to annul it down to 2 modifiers so you can start chaos spamming. And this is going to be pretty rough depending on how easy it is to roll whatever modifier you need. In my case, +3 maximum rage is pretty rough. Do note that if you look at diamonds right here, you will see on the side, it will say 1.429 to all the modifiers, but the modifiers of weight cannot be obtained from the game files. So some of these are actually a lot rarer and will be a lot harder to roll. For example, the rage is definitely not a 1 in 160. It is definitely harder to get. Now, while you're chaos spamming, probably make sure you make several of these bases. Otherwise, it's going to get very annoying and it's a lot easier to roll over than if you have a few more and you have time to react. Otherwise, yeah, it might be rough. Now, because maximum rage is so annoying to roll though, I will quickly do this with these example jewels, which is going to be very similar, but just imagine this faster start of energy shield to be anything else. You want to fill the jewels again, and then you do potent liquid contempt. 50-50, you got the +1 prefix on the first one, so let's just stay with this one. We put on a preserved cranium for the third prefix, and same thing applies. Again, you will have to hit right now. You cannot do this later. So yeah, we didn't hit it here, and we're just gonna keep annulling and annulling with Omen of Light. And well, this one's actually extremely rare, so I hit the +1 maximum rage, so this is a little bit of a shit show. That usually never happens, but just know it can happen. It doesn't just roll desecrated modifiers, but most of the time it will. So this is absurdly lucky, and I'll obviously keep it. But yeah, usually the jewel would look like this, where you have your third prefix and you roll into maximum energy shield and like high rate attack or spell damage. So yeah, but that's the beauty of crafting. If you know how to pivot, you can get a lot out of these crafts, and it gets a lot easier. We do Omen of Dextra Annulment again. We make sure that none of the others are activated, and we annul off until we get the prefix modifiers removed. And we got it on the first try. Nice. So now we add this, and at this stage, we're safe. Just make sure that, once again, your modifiers are filled, and we're once again chaos spamming into any modifier that we want in the suffix, and then we're gonna do the 50-50. We got critical hit chance, which is very strong for me. So now we use potent liquid ferocity again, and we see if we hit the 50-50. We did not. So this is the perfect example. On the first one, we got lucky. On the Sapphire, on this one, we did not. So now all you have to do is just chaos spam again. The mod got removed, but that's fine. We just go again, minion stuff, mark stuff, ailment threshold, mana recovery, and we got critical hit chance again. Let's try again. In this case, we did not get lucky again, and we keep moving. Here we had a juicy one, actually, movement speed. Let's see if that one stays. Oh, we actually got lucky on this one. Now, if you're a rage jewel, once again, you will have to divine here at the end, and whenever you get +3 rage, you know that it's good. So we're gonna do that real quick. Nice thing, once again, is the energy shield cannot change because it's fractured. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go for 3 maximum rage and 2 movement speed. So I'm going to wait until that happens. There it is. And we got a decent increased effect of prefix modifiers. And at the end, once again, we're going to quality the energy shield here. So in this case, this is more of like a hybrid jewel, where you have some attack modifiers, you have even some move speed or attack speed, whatever you want, and also faster start. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. Obviously, the second craft was a little bit more specialized. I just wanted to show what you can do with diamonds, and this is going to be hyper specialized. So check out the modifiers list. Definitely make a plan beforehand, and otherwise you're going to waste a lot of currency, which is what I did at the start. But that's fine. We learn, we live. It is what it is. Overall, though, these jewels are really goddamn exciting. Do note that if you want to use a rare adorn that gives increased effect to rare jewels, you also have to corrupt these at the end. So you're introducing another RNG on top of it already being expensive, and the adorn is expensive. So that is for, yeah, absolute crazy people. Like I will eventually in a day or two, but yeah. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a thing or two. And since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.